Welcome back, everybody, to Inside Saluki Athletics, which is presented by Northwind Roofing and Exteriors. Experience the Northwind Roofing Exteriors difference, where your home's exterior is our priority. Man, it's time to start Valley play this week for Saluki basketball alongside the head coach, Scott Nagy. I am Luke Martin. Max Pikaar will be our player guest this week out of the men's basketball portion as finally Coach Nagy and his group. I mean, listen to this, folks. Over 12,000 miles is what your group has accumulated since the start of early November, Coach Nagy.
That doesn't even feel like it could be correct.
I know it is, especially when you factor in you guys having the bus to St. Louis, you know, all the other stuff, and obviously with your flights as well. And you've played really good teams in non-conference play. I know it's never to the point where you ultimately want it as a head coach, but how you feel as you've gone through your non-conference slate, knowing the challenges your team has faced?
Yeah, I wish I could get a little farther away from it. You know, the coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know, that's how losers talk. You don't hear winners saying we should have done this or, and so I'm still frustrated even with the Richmond. And I know it was a hard interview for you after that game. I was just so bothered by some of the knuckleheaded plays we made, and as hard as because we did play hard. And I think back and said, like I've coached almost 1,000 games. There's been one other game that we've out-rebounded an opponent by more than that and lost, and we flat out got cheated in that game. Like this game, we didn't. I felt like the officials gave us a good call, 19 rebound advantage, and lost that game, and so we just weren't very smart. But we're close. But again, that's what losers say, and so we got to be done talking about those things and get through it, because the Valley games are going to be close. There's going to be a lot of them, and in all these close games, we've won one of them on the road, and so but we 4 of the 5 losses we've been ahead in the second half, and so that's frustrating.
Coach, one of the areas, and it's not just your team, I just think it's the culture of basketball where for coaches it's harder to get over losses than for players. Players can get over it much easier and move along. For you, what and you're honest about it. You say, hey, I really struggle with it. How do you help yourself get on to the next one? Because as well, just like the guys, you eventually have to do that as well.
Well, that's where my staff comes in play. They have to help me, and so we watched film this morning, and I was less emotional about it, and because I'm telling myself last night, we score one more point in regulation and we win, and we're all jovial and in a good mood. What's the big difference? There just isn't, other than one we won and one we didn't. And so I really tried to get my mind wrapped around that and just focus on, without being destructive, because when I get angry, my criticism can be destructive, and I didn't want to do that to the guys, because I do think we have a good team. I think we have guys that care. They do get over it more quickly than me. I just have got to get used to that, but it's hard for me. It's hard for me when guys, less than 24 hours out can be joking around, because I just can't be. It's not in me, and maybe it's one of the reasons why I'm coaching.
Coach, there's always a 50% equation to it, and what I really refer to that is, hey, your opponent has a say in how the game gets dictated as well. I know the 22 turnovers, there were some unforced things that you're frustrated by, but also where do you tip your cap and go, man, Richmond defensively forced us into some of these turnovers as well?
It was probably less than that and more. They shot 50% on us. I think offensively, part of that is the turnovers, and they did a good job of switching, and we didn't take advantage of it. We're used to seeing a switch, and we see it every day in practice. But on the break, we got squirrely with the ball, a couple turnovers they had, and then we turned right back around and just gave it back to them. We just got very loose with it, but their switching bothered us. It did.
One of the areas that last year at times, especially early on in the season, it got better as the year went along, but those long runs, like Richmond went on that 16-0 run there in the second half, that was common a lot last year, especially early on in the season. That's not been a common thread with your group this year. When you were able to go back and rewatch it with your guys, I'm sure the turnovers were part of that 16-0 run, but what else along with those did you feel, that really helped aid that run and just couldn't quite stop the bleeding there in the second half.
Quick shots, bad shots, which are like turnovers in Division One basketball. And and I don't blame the players for that. That's where I've got to get better control of the team when things aren't going well and it starts to flow downhill for the other team. Uh, we have to have something offensive we can go to where we can calm ourselves down and not just, we want to play with pace, but there are points when things aren't going well that we have to get control and run something that's probably a little more patterned where our players know what they're doing and know what we're trying to get. Because we got such a great start to that second half, and we were just flying up and down the floor and playing great, and then we it went funky for us. And in those moments when we feel that 4 to 6 point run from the team, there's something we have to be able to go to that will just give us some structure.
One of the areas that a lot of coaches point to, and I'm sure you have with your teams throughout the years, how important the last 5 minutes of the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second half can be. Your team played really well in the last 5 minutes of the first half. Yeah, no, and it
No,
did
but we did some things so well in that game. Just executing things that we really hadn't even worked on in practice, or just had 1 day prep. And so there were a lot of plays in there, out of bounds plays. The out of bounds play at the end of the first half
Yeah.
that we kind of just drew up, and an out of bounds play in the second half that we got a 3 point play on. And then we ran a couple sets for Kelron that we'd never even run before. But in my mind, I knew they would work against this team. And so, but we executed all that stuff really well. And, you played hard. You out rebound team by 19, and they were scared to death of us running. So they just didn't hardly go to the offensive glass. But just man, yeah, you had to do some knuckleheaded things to out rebound somebody by 19 and lose.
Yeah, and I know that's going to be an area with your point with your group as you continue to progress on. And like we said, you now have all the non-conference play out of the way. You look at your 5 losses, coach. I mean, 4 of them, you were right in the thick of it in the final under 4 minute media timeout. In terms of just battle tested, your group being pushed through a lot of different scenarios on the floor. I know you want those games to ultimately flip, and that's what's going to happen here come league play. But if, hey, our group's been through a lot and a lot of good things that's going to help them against other good teams.
Yeah, and it creates good talking points, but like I say, now the talking's done.
Yeah.
And we've learned from this. We either have or we haven't. And we need to. And some of that is me learning too. It's not just our players. I'm not just throwing it all in their lap.
Yeah.
But like I say, I've struggled to have structure into our offense because I like motion, but there are times when things get squirrely with motion and guys aren't moving, or we take some quick shots when we need to take our time offensively, that we have to have something we can go to. And so that's where I have to do a better job.
Rollins got his first double-double on Saturday against Richmond. He has been someone that throughout the year you can see his confidence level growing. I know a big area of focus for him was slow down a bit at the end of this year. Where have you seen his growth throughout this year, and how important he was for you on Saturday against the Spiders?
Yeah, he played great. He wasn't feeling well, and you saw him go out of the game early there.
Yeah.
He was really struggling with a chest cold and maybe even a fever, and so but I say he should be sick more often if he plays that way. Maybe it will slow him down. He, again, like the rest of the guys, he had a couple areas where he just is so sped up. But yeah, we would take that out of him every game.
We're going to get Max Pikaar coming on the show. I thought Max, again, not a ton of opportunities early on this season, but man, within the last week, you've been able to put him into some key situations. What have you seen from Max, and how important this week can be in terms of a springboard for him?
He's helped us defensively. Just having him out on the floor, he can stay in front of the ball. He switches. Really hard to score on. Some of the stuff he doesn't show up in stats. Areas that he needs to work on is scoring inside the 3 point line, playing inside there, and then rebounding. He like 14 minutes, no rebounds the other night. Like we need him involved if he's going to play. I mean, he's too big and too good an athlete, and so we want him to work on that. But he does a lot of things defensively that again don't even show up in stats that really help our basketball team.
What about Damian Mayo in terms? I ask you about him every week, but in terms of his shot, there's always hit mechanically. It looks so smooth
Yeah,
all times.
just
The,
confidence. It's he had the one game at High Point, and it's like it just changed him. He had. Well, I think about when we in Nevada, he had a chance to take a three late in the game, and he passed it up. And the play was really designed for him to take shot, and he passed it up. And he's not passing those up now because it's I keep saying it. How you view yourself is how you play, and now he sees himself as. I mean, the guy's shooting 50% from three.
one of the key adjustments is, when you get into league play, you get scouted a heck of a lot different than at times going through non-con. And some of that is because the continuity piece that carries over, there's not a huge continuity anymore in our game of college basketball and how rosters look. But for guys who have had really good non-conferences, we talked about the improvement of a Davion Sykes and others throughout. How key and important is it for them when they get scouted a little bit different? When all of a sudden you go up on that scouting report, maybe to where you were earlier on the season, how important of an aspect is that for a player to adjust to that as you go throughout the year? I'm sure Damian Mayo the same thing. Everyone knows he's been valuable, but now teams just can't give him horse shots anymore, Coach Nagy. I mean, they're going to have to try to guard him.
I don't know if it's going to change the way the players play. Really, what should end up happening is field goal percentages should go down if we've done our job. That theirs will go down, but that also means the flip in terms of they do everything they can do to take away strengths. The other thing is coaches get used to going against other coaches, and so just even the strategies we know better. And so there are a lot of things even that don't even involve the players that the coaches are used to each other, and so but it should work to the advantage of both teams if we do our job.
It's not really an apples to apples comparison when you talk about your team going into this conference play compared to last year's team, because one, the schedule was much different. The league game with Bradley was much earlier at the start of December versus now Illinois State being here in kind of mid-December, and you're going to stay in league play as you go throughout. But in just terms of, man, the difference of your team feeling battle tested, ready for league play versus obviously where you were a year ago going into it.
Yeah, I think the team last year went and had no idea who they were. And it showed up. We got just crushed by Bradley. I think this team has a way better idea of who they are and sees themselves a lot differently than the team we had last year.
Illinois State, it's a group that's brought back a lot in terms of their continuity from a team last year that won the CBI championship in March. Coach Peen and his group are the preseason #1 team heading into the year. What's impressed you about them from what you've seen of their non-conference?
And they played, it says they've only played 2 road games, but really they played 4. The Southern Cal game and the Utah State game were basically road games for them. They had to travel all the way out there, even though they didn't play in their home venue. They were right there, basically in their hometowns. So, and obviously the road games are tough, and so they fared the same as we did in terms of winning one road game. But they're really good offensively. They're much improved defensively. They've got some very tough kids on their team. But I mean, they got 5 guys averaging double figures, and you get the MVP of the league. That's the 3rd leading scorer on their team. And so that presents they present a big problem. They really shoot it. As a team, they're shooting 49% from the floor, but they shoot at a much better clip than we do from 3. So and obviously Walker just provides his own problems, and then you put good shooters around him. But we saw that with them last year too, and they beat us by 30 at their place. We fared better at home, and so but they put out a lot of pressure on your defense, and like I say, they've got some kids that have been in their program that are tough kids.
You mentioned you really like their defense, that they've really improved on that side. What leads you to believe they're much better there?
Well, just look at their numbers. They're way better. They're out rebounding their opponents, which is typical if you have a winning record. But if you just look at their overall numbers, they're good. Their field goal percentage defense is good. They're forcing way more turnovers than they're giving up. And when you get in those situations, you're going to win.
biggest keys for your group that you continue to work on throughout this week to get off to a good start in Valley play on Thursday night, Coach?
Well, we got to change the pattern of here lately we've been coughing the ball up a lot more. We were being really good about that against some really tough teams, and now we've gotten real loose with the ball, and so that has to get cleaned up for our basketball team, and we got to just be done talking about the things we could get done and actually get them done. Otherwise, it's just talk, and I don't have much interest in that. So and just trying to give us a little more structure. But we put pressure on teams too, offensively. The main thing is we just have to continue, to get better defensively. We give up 50%, like I say, against Richmond, and it's hard to win. When you do that, even when you rebound a team by 19.
Coach, before I let you go, one of the things I've noticed about you, in terms of something that's pretty, I don't know if it's routine for you, but when I'm out of practice, I notice you have like one of your legs, when you look at your whatever I'm trying to call them, your sweats, you roll them up, one up to your kneecap, the other's all the way down. Like that's like, do you know any reason why you do that?
No reason. I just start to get hot, because I'm in practice and I get moving around, and so I don't know why I do. I don't know.
Yeah, just something funny that you do, and it's common. Mike Trude and others, but hey, you know why Coach does that? I'm going to ask him.
I don't know why.
Well, of course, this is our last show, obviously, before a little bit of a holiday break. We're going to talk many times here before the holidays, of course, with multiple games to come with Illinois State and Bradley. But, Coach, just with your staff, with your players, we talk about all the time how, yes, basketball, no doubt, is important to you guys. You guys want to win so badly for these fans, but obviously for yourselves. When you get around the holidays, it just reinforces those things are really important to you. Just what you really do truly like about your group that you put together in terms of individuals.
Well, I know they care, and they really get along. They spend a lot of time together, and I don't, obviously with practice and lifting and all the basketball stuff, but I know off the floor they're together a lot. It's real hard in this culture of Division I men's basketball now, to get some of that because there's so many new guys coming in every year, and so we really enjoy this group. I think they enjoy the coaching staff, but and we know they care, and that it's hard. It just is hard to get that. You get a team like Illinois State that they return so many guys. It's not as hard to get. But with 8 new guys, it's not easy to get, I think, what we have now. And we have some, the guys have some belief too.
Something strikes me when you get to Christmas time for you, Coach Nagy. You really love, and you seem like you'd be really good at getting gag gifts for people because of your sense of humor. So I have to ask, is that something you really enjoy this time of year? Like, especially with your staff? Like, do you try to hey, give them a gag gift, something to make them laugh this time of year?
I probably would be, but I'm so focused on basketball. Sure. My wife gets most of the gifts.
I'm sure Jamie takes care of that. Yeah. You leave Coach Nagy to the basketball side. Coach, really excited for league play. Looking forward to Thursday night against Illinois State.
Okay. Thanks.
Once again, that was head coach Scott Nagy. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with Max Pikaar here on the Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Northwind Roofing and Exteriors. Northwind Roofing and Exteriors, our dedicated team, brings precision and expertise to every project, ensuring your home not only looks its best, but it also is well guarded against the elements. Max Pikaar is next. Welcome right back to Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by our friends at Northwind Roofing and Exteriors. Guarding your home's legacy from peak to foundation is what we do. With over 40 years of combined experience, Northwind Roofing and Exteriors will get the job done right. Call today at 618-713-1318. Well, this guy doesn't have 40 years of college basketball experience yet, but he's getting there. Max Pikaar for SIU men's basketball joins us as we just talked with the head coach, Scott Nagy. Conference play starts Thursday night against the Illinois State Redbirds, the preseason #1 team in the Missouri Valley Conference. Max, it's got to be exciting for you guys, man. You've been everywhere here over the last month in November. But how would you guys just assess the season to this point for you guys that you finish up non-conference play?
I mean, everybody's excited for conference to start, of course. Non-conference, a lot of traveling, a lot of away games. Glad we still got the 4-0 at home record, undefeated at home, trying to keep that going. So Thursday will be a big test against Illinois State. I feel like we're preparing well, getting ready for that, and definitely excited to get that started.
I'm going to put it up on the screen as we talk here, but really to put it up in perspective, the total miles that you guys traveled in 34 days as a program, 12,780 miles is how many miles you guys accumulated since early November. Now, if you're all right, well, why are you counting? Well, that counts like when you guys got to fly commercial, that's driving to St. Louis. And then, of course, when you drive back, when you get back, and then, of course, through the air. I mean, that is a lot of miles, Max. How did you guys just persevere through? And then you factor in, you guys are playing really good teams when you go play. It's not like these are easy road trips to get to and going up against easy teams.
I mean, of course, we've been everywhere. Nevada, left side or
Yeah.
west side, and then Florida, East Coast. So all the traveling, we're not blaming anything on traveling because, like, of course, that's what teams got to do. So I feel like we on the road, you got to look for energy because maybe, didn't sleep well or got in late, whatever happened. Can't blame it on anything. So get in, bring energy. And then I feel like that's what we did on the road. Of course, a couple of difficult games.
Yeah.
2 overtime games. Overtime loss always like or the worst, I think, overtime losses. So kind of sucked, but I feel like we, did okay.
Bring all that travel up because, man, I thought you were going to get us a game in the Netherlands. I mean, why didn't I thought we'd get
we
like
should next
year.
Next
Let's try neutral site.
Yeah.
I mean, neutral site overseas. I think that's a great idea, Max. Your season, of course, early, not a ton of playing time, but man, over the last week or so, I feel like this has been a really important stretch for you. These 2 games. How have you viewed it, Max, of when you've gotten onto the court and you've done productive things when you've been out there? I think, especially even more so defensively.
I mean, I feel like it's also kind of matchup based right now because we play UT Martin, Richmond, 2 teams that play 5 out, use their bigs well in the perimeter and stuff. So we switched a lot the past 2 games. So coach told me ahead of time, like, hey, be ready. You might get your chance in these 2 games. So, and then Isaiah was out against UT Martin, so there was some minutes that had to be filled up. And coach told me, you might get the chance, and if you go in there, don't be scared, bring energy. And I feel like, especially against UT Martin, that's what I tried, and I feel like it went pretty well. Trying to stay ready, and hopefully keep this going in conference play.
You mentioned staying ready. It's easy to say, it's really hard to do. I think maybe even more so, not even from a physical standpoint, but more between your ears.
Mentally, definitely.
What do you do, Max, to help you make that process as easy as you can, knowing it's not an easy process?
I don't think it's necessarily just me. It's definitely my teammates helping me too. I just want to say Mayo. He's, telling me, talking to me off the court as well, like, hey, stay ready. If you play, we trust in you still. It's not like, you haven't played a lot in the first few games. So like if you get in there still to do things you can do, we still trust in you. Don't get down on yourself. So that definitely helped in mentally staying ready because it can be difficult, getting in there and haven't played much before that. So like confidence wise, just my teammates helping me out. That's like pretty big.
You don't have really anything to compare it to because this is your first year here, but you brought up Damian Mayo, how he was a guy that just, hey, he'll communicate with you. He'll talk to you, say, Max, we believe in you, man. You can do this for our team. He has a completely different look this year than he did last year. And that wasn't saying that he was one of the key leaders a year ago as well. Outside of just verbally saying things to you, how does his play, his leadership style really affect a guy like you and can really uplift you?
I mean, being on the court with him, it just makes everything quite easy because, he'll always only be loud, of course, but like
Yeah.
cover up for if people make mistakes, he'll cover up for it. And then offensively, he great cutter, shooting it really well lately. So playing with him, I feel like for everybody, it makes the game easier.
What are areas you look back at the last two games and go, I'm most proud of this?
Um, I feel like our perseverance, so like we just stick together. Even though like some games you go up, some games against High Point were at one point like down,
Trailing.
yeah, trailing pretty bad, and we got fight. We fought back and won that game. It was a really good win for us. Kept it going, especially on the road. They hadn't lost at home in forever. Their at home record was really good. So I feel like we just stick together really well.
One of the areas this team, as you said, sticking together through games that get off to great starts, games that don't get off to great starts. Gosh, the start of the second half was such a strong point for you guys. And then, of course, that 16-0 run happens. What was most frustrating from a player's perspective during that 16-0 run, Max? You guys have had time to think about it and, of course, watch the film.
I mean, a 16-0 run, that means the ball's just not going in. So like that's for us, that was we struggled just running our offense and getting the shots that we were looking for. Maybe a few shots early in the shot clock, and then I feel like you got to get stops to run. And I feel like we're doing really well in getting stops and running because we're pretty athletic team. And that's how we again definitely against UT Martin scored our best baskets. Just running, and that's we need to get stops to run our offense. And I feel like that's what we didn't do in the mid of the second half.
Yeah, it's an area to me that I have to remind myself to, especially when it comes to a guy like Calron Q. You too, like you're still a sophomore, in college basketball, and this is no doubt you played more minutes, I think, the last two games than you did all of last year. Like there's a ton of growth that you still need, but also even a guy like Q who
Mhm.
played last year a lot, but still a sophomore, young in his career. How have you guys, as just the youth of this team, continue to develop this year, Max?
I mean, it comes to being on the court minutes. So, like, of course, we're not all of us, but a couple of us are young, haven't been on the court much, and I feel like as long as that keeps on going, you know, we will get better.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, Q is playing good minutes right now, so you can see like he'll keeps on going, and it will get better like with time goes. So, like, I feel like that's where the older guys come into play, like more leadership, being on the court longer. They know what's going on, been in those games before. So like um, the young guys will learn from them.
Talk about the young guys being able to develop for you. What's an area that, whether it's on the floor, off the floor, that you're like, hey, this is an area for me that I'm still a young guy, but need to continue to really embrace and improve if you want to continue to make those strides that you hope to make, Max?
Just like learning from guys like Prince, Mayo, and I mean their energy they bring. It's just especially for me, maybe the style I used to play and like I always played, it's different than how I do right now. So like just bringing my energy in different parts of the game, rebounding, mostly defensively, getting my energy in that part of the game, and then translating it to offense.
The best part about you guys, what I've seen when I'm on the road with you, is this isn't a group, this isn't a team that's really in cliques. Typically, when you go on the road, you can see how these guys hang around each other all the time, kind of separate. You guys hang out with everybody.
Everybody hangs out. No, we're
What
really close. Everybody's close.
what do you credit that to, other than just, hey, you guys just really like each other? But I mean, it's you spend so much time in here in the arena, weight room, yet you guys still find that time outside of that to spend even more time with one another. Like, what do you believe is that driving force with you guys and how close you are?
I mean, it's hard to because everybody just clicks well. Like nobody's selfish, and I feel like that's very important. I mean, we're about to get breakfast after this together with the team again. So like I feel like stuff like that, it's important. Everybody is coming. I mean, Davion Sykes, he got two finals right now, so he's not coming, but like we're joking about calling him in or something, like, so everybody's like still sticking together. And I feel like everybody just gets along really well, and that's really important for on the court stuff as well.
Balancing the understanding that you guys have been tested, like we talked about, one, the travel, et cetera, but excluding that, your five losses, four of them, you've been right there. The only game you really never had a chance to win, I say it in that way, but one game that wasn't close with 4 minutes to go was the Memphis game on the road. All the others, play here or there, could have made a world of difference. But knowing you guys have been through that already, it doesn't feel like there's any fool's gold with you guys. Like, you know what you're really good at right now, and you know what you really need to improve at. Now you know it begins for real Thursday against Illinois State. Just in terms of readiness, in terms of knowing, hey, the perseverance, the plays you had to go through, you guys feel ready, for the gauntlet that's about to come?
Definitely. I mean, right now it's a lot of games in a short period of time, and I feel like everybody's looking forward to it because being on the court with each other, that's the most fun thing there is. So just keeping enjoying that, I feel like it's very important, and playing games is the most fun thing there is. So
one of the areas, Max, this is our last show before we take a couple-week break for the holidays. When the holidays come, it can be really, really tough for international kids because you don't get the opportunity to go home. So for those that may wonder, man, what's Max do over the holidays? Just, I'm sure, take advantage of some of your teammates where you can go and find time to spend with them.
Actually, my parents are flying into
So
I got grandparents out in Ohio. So my mom, dad, and sister, they're flying into the Bradley game, the 21st. And then we got a couple of days off, be with them, and then they'll leave right after New Year's. So I actually got pretty lucky this year that they'll be there. So
great.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
That'll be a lot of fun for you guys, and no doubt much needed. Man, the energy level for you guys, it's been fun to watch you guys play, and to know how important it is to get that support at home. It's going to be a late night on Thursday. It's not very often we get a late tip. I've asked this to you guys and many of you guys throughout the year, having the home faithful behind you, how much of a difference they can make, because you guys for sure feel it when you go on the road, and when those other teams start to get on runs, how that can factor into it too.
It's very important. I mean, I think we showed against UT Martin that we're a very fun team to watch.
Yeah.
So for the fans to see that as well, and then if we get a dunk, the crowd goes wild. That's the best thing to hear. So hopefully they'll be out there, and we can put on a show for them.
It's not going to be easy, especially with the preseason #1 team coming in. You guys will then have to go on the road at Bradley, who also is a tough challenge, always on the road, and then Murray State after your mini break. Those are 3 tough games right out of the chute, Max. But how important is it? Just, you do have to focus as a one game at a time, can't look at all 20 games right now in the Valley play. You really just have to look at, it's about getting off on a good start come Thursday night.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like the start is very important. It's a long non-conference, 20 games. So this only the middle part as well. So like people not only showing up for these first 3 games, but also showing up for game 10, 11, 12. Those matter as well. So just having people out there the whole season long is very important.
Max, we appreciate the time, man. And let's start off Valley play with a bang here on Thursday night.
Sure, we'll do.
Once again, that was Max Pikaar, who joins us here on Inside Saluki Athletics, which is presented by Northwind Roofing and Exteriors. They specialize in enhancing and protecting the external elements of your home, serving the communities of Williamson, Franklin, and Jackson counties. Give them a call today at 618-713-1381.